Welcome to another ThemeMountain video tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show how to use the icon shortcode, which is used throughout our themes in sliders, parallax sections, full screen sections, and more. So I have my section block set up here. I'm going to go ahead and select my icon. When I do, we're presented with a bunch of different options here. The first one is the bottom margin of the icon. So the first value here sets the bottom margin of the icon for desktop and tablet. The second one sets it for mobile, which kicks in at 768 pixels. Now this is useful that you can vary it because you might have a very spaced out design that looks great on desktop and tablet, but that does not look that great on mobile. So you can either clear the margin here or reduce it. For now I'm just going to leave it to the default, which is 30, but I suggest you play around with it to see how it functions. Then I'm going to go ahead and select my icon here. Right now I'm not going to link it to anything, so I'm just going to leave that as is. Under display options we can choose whether we should display it in line. So if we wanted to insert multiple icons on the same row, we'd select the display inline option here. Under design options we can set the size, style, and color of the icon. For now I'm just going to leave it to the defaults, but I suggest you play around with it to see what it does. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and we can see what this looks like. So nothing fancy, we've inserted our icon here, it's not linked to anything. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to link it or force it to scroll down to the text section that we have down here. To do that, I go back to my icon, I modify the link to section here and set it to scroll to section. Under the link URL we enter the ID of the section, so in this case as we can see here it's test, so remember to always add the hashtag before the name. Then we have the scroll offset, and this allows us to stop the scroll either before or after the section should we want to. Now this really depends on the design. For now I'm going to leave it to 0, but I'm going to show you in just a bit how it functions. Now that I click my icon, it will scroll down to the section here. Now, as I said just before, if I wanted the scroll to stop a little bit before the section, say 100 pixels up, this is what we could use the scroll offset for. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. So I'm going to set this to -100. If we set it to +100, it would mean 100 pixels past the section. So I'm just going to go ahead and save that, and we can see how this works. Now that I click the link, it scrolls down, but it stops 100 pixels before the section. Again, play around with this and see how it functions, and it really depends on the design and what you're going for. Now I'm going to link this icon to a page. So I'm going to switch the link to option to page, and I'm going to change the link URL there. And then we have the link target, so we can choose whether it should open in the same or new tab. I'm going to set a new one. And I'm also going to go ahead and change the icon here to a dribble icon so it reflects the link. Here we go. Now that I click it, it will open the page that I linked to in a new tab. Now I'm going to show you how to link the icon to an image in a lightbox. So I go back to the link to option here, I switch to lightbox. Then we're presented with some additional options here. First, the media type, where we can choose either image or video. I'm going to leave it to image for now. Then I'm going to upload my image or select one from the media library. And then we have the zoom button and the share buttons. I'm going to select these to include them. And then we also have a caption. I'm just going to add one as an example here. And I'm also going to change the icon to an image icon here. Go ahead and save that. Now that I click the icon, we launch the lightbox with an image. We have the zoom and the share buttons here, and we have our test caption down here. I'm now going to show you how to launch a video using the icon. So I go back to my icon here. This time I just switch the media type to video. I'm going to choose Vimeo, but YouTube and the other videos are pretty much the same, so I'm just going to use Vimeo as an example. I'm going to go ahead and copy a Vimeo ID. Paste it here, and then we have the video URL parameters, and this is where you can style the player. You can also force it to autoplay. You'll find a link to the YouTube parameter page and the Vimeo parameter page in our documentation, so I suggest you check them out and see the different parameters and play around with them to see how they work. I'm just going to go ahead and add autoplay here as an example. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to change this to play icon. And just as an example here, I'm going to switch the style to a circled icon so we can see what this looks like. Again, I'm just leaving the default colors here, but do play around with them to see how they work. There we go, so we have our play icon. Now that I click it, it will launch a auto-playing video in a lightbox.
So I think the thing about...
And that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Play around with the different options, there's a bunch of them, and try them out.